Hello, welcome to this episode where we look behind the scenes of a game show with a contestant that has been on one. Would you like to introduce yourself and tell us what show that you've been on, please?
Sure. My name is Elliot Yates. I was just on the most recent season of The Chase here in the US, though it was actually my fourth show to be on. We've actually filmed on the 10-year anniversary that I filmed Wheel of Fortune back in 2011. So they just got picked up for a new season, and I'm glad. I hope that they'll have me back so I can just keep winning.
What were the other two shows that you'd been on, did you say?
In 2013, I was on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, the season that Cedric the Entertainer hosted. It's a weird season, but I was happy to go on. And then in 2015, I was on 6 episodes of Jeopardy.
Oh, lovely. So The Chase, why did you go on that one? Had you watched it beforehand or?
I had watched it beforehand. In fact, I had seen it in its previous US iteration where it was on Game Show Network and loved it. I was like, this is a really great show. As a trivia quiz person, we like when shows are based on that and not based on will you eat a bug or something like that. So I knew that I could do it. I knew that I could be good at it. And then it never worked out when it was on first because I was either just coming off of a show or just going on to the next one. There's like a waiting period. So when they announced that they were coming back, I was like, oh yeah, it's time. It had been five years since my previous one. It almost felt like I was done with it, even though I knew in my heart that I wasn't. So I came to that audition, and from the moment that we started, the moment that we finished, I knew even it was a long process. I think they probably shortened it. The long process, I knew each step of the way. I was like, I'm getting this. I'm claiming this. It's happening.
So you said it had been 5 years since your last one, game show appearance. Was that the delay that they put on? Because Dave was saying in his interview that there's some that they don't allow you onto loads of shows at once. Was that a personal choice or was that a delayed thing?
You in the US at least, you definitely have to wait 12 months before you do another one. And if you're even applying or like you get to a callback for one and it hasn't even been 12 months, they kind of won't consider you. They just don't want to have to deal with that, which happened to me the first time I got a callback for Jeopardy. I had 2 recently been on Wheel of Fortune. Even though, and I was trying to explain to them, I was like, yeah, but I know how long y'all's process takes. And by the time we would tape or by the time it would air, it would be well over a year. And they were like,
yeah. Just straight.
We got plenty of calm down. So you basically have to like not even really look at another show in terms of applying until about a year after your first one happened. And then I think it was after Jeopardy, like I moved from New York to California, and then I like changed careers, and so I had multi years where I was just like I was focused on other things, and nothing presented itself just right. Although in those gap years, I was reached out to by the producers of Ellen's game show, the Ellen's Game of Games, and the Joker's Wild, which I think Snoop Dogg hosted for like 1 or 2 seasons.
Right.
So I did make videos for those, but I wasn't like thirsty for them like the previous ones because I had like a new and a good job. And also those aren't as trivia based, and they want you to give them the like Tom Cruise jumping on Oprah's couch moment, which I can do, but I don't want it to be artificial. I want it to be because I just got a really good question about a drag queen or something.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So they approached you. Was that after seeing your previous like shows?
Yeah. So at least with those 2 shows that I didn't get on, yeah, there's definitely a roster of game show producers who I know and will text, email me like, hey, we've got a new show coming up. So they'll reach out for that. But then specifically for the chase, I think I saw it on this website called Buzzer Blog, which is, you should definitely check it out if you haven't. They are up to date on any current events that are happening in game shows, and also casting, especially in the past like year. Feels like there's a lot of shows right now. They're all casting. And so this Buzzer Blog will list casting notices, as well as what I'm in a Facebook group for basically everybody who's been on Jeopardy. And so people will put casting things there as well. So it had come across my feed, thankfully. And I was like, okay, it's time. I'm doing this.
With the chase, did you have to audition? Was there any like trivia questions you had to pass before you got on it? Or?
Yes. The first stage was, I think now for this season that they are in the middle of casting or have already casted, it's like a 50 question test. I don't think mine was actually 50 questions, 20 or 25, but we had to, on Zoom, they watched somewhere between like 10 and 12 of us take a short test. And then basically 20 minutes later, they called 2 of us of the group that said, hey, you're passed. Can you do a callback right now? Oh, wow. So like I went straight into a callback with this other guy, Troy Meyer, actually. He's like the world quizzing champion. Oh. I didn't know him at the time, but I was glad to have him because he was just good to have somebody in the audition that you could play off. I don't need to, I play myself. I don't need to play off anybody, but it did make it more bantery. And it was nice for me to have like this nerdy figure. It just made us both better. I made him looser and he was a foil.
Yeah. Interesting that they made you do it. So did you go on together then? Did he manage to get
No, he didn't manage to get on. And in fact, I became actually pretty good friends with his wife, who was also auditioning. Yeah. It's going to be hard for him to go on a show because he's literally a like quizzing world championship. If he gets on a show, he's going to win unless it's a crazy something. So he didn't unfortunately make it.
Is that why they didn't let him on? Because it was because I know.
I mean, who knows? I don't know how his subsequent auditions went. When I wasn't there, was he plainer? Probably. Who knows?
Who knows? So how long?
I also know that like they did a really great job in both the questions and both the people of casting of just like showing a wide diversity of people. And because for a long time trivia has been like the realm of straight white men. So I do know that when they get the opportunity to cast somebody good who happens to not be straight and white, they love that opportunity.
Good. Yeah, it's good that being more diverse. I agree. Yeah, it is very.
Yes, I was thrilled with some of the questions that I got. Questions about like LGBT history and like I was like, this is a different set of questions. I mean, there's still some trivia standards, but like somebody put some intention into that, and I was thrilled about it.
Yeah, I've never thought about that they changed the actual questions, because I thought you just meant the contestants. That's interesting that they've done that. That's really good.
Yeah, I got a question that was like this Drag Race star was the first trans person to originate a role on Broadway. And I'm like, okay, well, I've seen every episode of Drag Race. And like, I was like, somebody wrote that, like, this would not have been on a game show 10 years ago, maybe 6 years ago. And it really, I was like, just pumped about it.
Yeah, it's crazy when you say even 6 years ago. Yeah, it seems so. It's happened quite quickly, hasn't it? All this development in attitudes and things like that.
We're taking steps every day.
From the application, how long did it take for you to get on the actual show?
So everything kicked off in July when I applied. I think somebody called me that day or the next day. and we did the first round. There were like at least two more Zoom rounds where there was trivia involved, but there was also personality involved. And then we like did a taping of an audition to show to producers. We didn't film, we didn't get the like official word though until sometime in October, end of October, and then we filmed mid-November.
Right, so about 4
But
months.
I was in constant communication with them. Basically every week they would be like, you're still in the runnings, we don't have official dates yet. And of course this was mid-COVID, before a vaccine was created. Yeah. So like they were still trying to figure it out. But I was in a lot of communication with them, which was good. And I also had my heart already knew that I was in. I was just waiting for them to realize it.
Fair enough. Of course. So I think the first person I've interviewed who's filmed during COVID. So how was that different? What did they
change? Very different. The first thing was because we did fly down. Well, first of all, they were trying to get only California people. They really wanted people that were not just LA, but like could drive there and not have to take a flight. I live in San Francisco, so I did ask them to fly me down, but we had to do a COVID test from home on camera with a nurse and send it off before we were allowed to come in. Once that cleared, then I got to fly down, and when I landed, I immediately got taken to a rapid on-site testing place. So I got tested again, and then we were put up in a hotel and basically asked to quarantine while we were there. Something had happened with, I landed on a Monday, I was supposed to tape on a Wednesday. Something happened on Monday. I think somebody's test came back positive. And so the production schedule changed. So Monday night, they were like, hey, actually, we already got your test in. You're going to tape tomorrow. So I taped the next day. The protocols of it were just basically like everybody wore masks at all time, even double masks. Like the makeup people who would get in your face, makeup and mic people, had on a cloth mask and also a clear face mask. And the only times we did have our own dressing rooms. So if we were going to close the door to eat or whatever, then we could take them off once the door was closed. But basically full complete mask use until we were literally like delivered to the stage. Front, like backstage, we got to the stage, then it was just the four of us, the three contestants, Sarah Haynes, the host, and I guess the chasers. Everybody else fully masked the whole time. It felt very safe. And even the stage manager had a tape measure because the promotion people wanted to take shots of us together, and the stage manager was like, they're not getting 6 feet within each other. She pulled her tape measure out and she was like, okay, no, he can sit here, you're here. And the guy with the camera was mad about it, but she did not care. And that's great. I mean, I we had all obviously passed 2 COVID tests in the past, 4 or 5 days. Not that those tests matter for the next moment, but I definitely felt safe the whole time.
That's good.
Super.
Did you do any practice before you went on the show, or did you've been on shows before, so I guess you've got a kind of base knowledge, but did you do any like extra revision or anything like that? Or
yes, I definitely have a base knowledge, and then I also know how to study for a game show, or basically just know that like you should study, you should brush up on things, either things that you're weak on or just remind yourself of things that you already know. And so, I pulled out like Google Sheets and just was adding information into it as I came across it. I work at Google, and I also am the head writer for Google's weekly trivia contest called Work From Home Trivia. So in doing that, that was a good way to study, to compile information, to like like if I was like, I'm weak on sports or whatever, then I would be like, okay, well, this week's quiz is about sports. So I can like study about it. But yeah, you should study that. That's everybody always asks that when you go on a game show. No shows give you study guides. Jeopardy does not give you a study guide. They don't tell you what the categories are going to be, but you know what you know, and you know what you don't know, and you should brush up on all of it and like commit the time that you can. If flashcards work well for you, do that. I made one set of virtual flashcards because I never knew all of the US vice presidents. So I did that, and I made a one for like the 20 hardest world capitals that I never really knew. Like it's just hard to remember the capital of the Solomon Islands. And so I made those two, but aside from that, I just had my sheet and I was just reading.
So only just briefly. So do you have like a strategy when you're going to prepare? Do you have like, do you use Sparkle quizzes, or do you find the questions yourself, or do you?
I don't personally use Sporkle quizzes, but I know a lot of people do. And in fact, a guy I know who was also a Jeopardy champion works there now. And then my friend Kristen, who was on Jeopardy with me and then was on an episode of The Chase as well, she said she was doing, that was like the main thing she was doing. So I know people really like those. I like to, I feel like I have a good grasp of what would be a question and what would not be a question. And so I can like focus my study that way to where I'm not getting these 90% of questions that are like, okay, they would never ask any of this. So this is a waste of time. Yeah. So I just, I'm a curious person, and anytime anything comes across my way, whether I'm watching Love Island UK and it's like, oh, somebody's from Newcastle, let me go read about Newcastle. What, like, I don't know anything about Newcastle.
You don't want to read about Newcastle.
I don't. But if they ask me, I could say that it's on time because I read that, because Amber was from Newcastle, who won the season 5 of Love Island UK. Yeah, you just have to, even if you're just watching something stupid, Real Housewives or Drag Race, stuff will come up that you're like, oh, do I know what that is? And it prompts you to read. And especially if you're reading on Wikipedia, it's really easy to get into a wiki hole where that goes to the next thing. It's easy to study if you just do it, if you're curious.
Just talking about the day of filming itself, when did you meet the contestants that you were on the team with?
Yeah, we met that day. I met one of them in the bus from the hotel to the studio. My teammate Catherine, that was when I got to meet her, when I got to know her. I was wondering who it was going to be because I knew that there were like 7 or 8 other previous Jeopardy contestants that had been cast. And I was like, okay, so they're definitely not, it's not the UK chase where it literally is for average people. Even though in some of their promo material, they called us average, they were casting people who knew what they were doing. So I was going to get a feel out. I was hoping that somebody else like was not carry their weight, but like had done shows before or whatever. So I met Catherine. This was her first show. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll have to carry the team. And then we started talking, and she was an earth scientist, and she's been to 138 countries. And I was just like, holy crap, this woman, a blessing. Like how great. I am not going to have to carry the weight. My team, they've given me a good team. And then I met Chris, and honestly, like if I could pick a career for someone on my team, he was a sports writer. I was like, great. I don't care at all about sports. And you literally write about them. They have given me the perfect team. I'm so pleased.
That's good. I wonder, so did they do that on purpose? I thought they'd want like bad teams in order to save money, I guess, on winnings.
Yeah, I think at least in the US, when the team's winning is better TV. And so they want teams to win. They definitely want to have at least some teams win for sure. I don't know what other metrics go into putting a team together. But I know they aren't afraid to give some money away.
That could be an interesting. I don't know this for fact, but I know that I've heard rumours about some British game shows that they just say no to anyone that's like good at quizzing. That could be an interesting difference between American and British. Maybe British.
It could be that, and also there's other things where like a lot of British shows don't have a prize. Like I also watch Only Connect. They don't have a prize, and even the first season of UK Drag Race, I don't think there was a cash prize. So what that also says to me is that there are different rules just from on high about being on TV in it. And even like Love Island UK, which is a huge show, for them to be on 50 episodes and the top prize is that maybe 2 people will split 50K, like that's not like huge, you know.
Yeah, I think
it is different. It is different.
I think a lot of British shows like Exposure is kind of what the prize is, which is a bit different. Like, I was blown away by how much money was offered on the American Chase. What's it, $5,000 per question in the Cash Builder?
25 grand per Cash Builder question. And we didn't know it until that day, or maybe found out the day before, like through the grapevine. But like I had been asking about that because I love coming up with strategies, and so I had reached out to my producers like the week before because we weren't really getting a lot of day of information. How was it going to be different than any previous iterations? And then when they dropped that bomb, I was like, holy crap, that's so
insane.
Much. That's so much.
I was reading about the UK Chase today, and unless this is an outdated fact, the most money they've ever offered to one person was 100 grand. That was just the most.
Yeah, probably because it's only 1K per Cash Builder, and Bradley does read a lot faster than Sarah. So a really good person could get up to 10, maybe, or 11 or 12. But yeah, I can imagine that 100 is the highest they offered. Whereas I pulled in a 175 pre-high offer.
It's insane. It's just so different. Did you say you won 175 in the Cash Builder when you played?
Yes, I did.
What was your high and low offers then from the Chaser?
My high offer was 300, which could have been a little higher. Other people got like more than double theirs. So, but I also know they go a little lower when you're the first one up.
Yeah.
So my high was 300, and I think my low was 75. I think Brad said something like, for the round that you just played, this should be moderately insulting, 75K. And I was like, I don't feel insulted. I mean, that's still a great number. But I knew that I would take the middle amount probably regardless, specifically because the hardest part of the chase is that middle round. That it's just a really hard round, and you got to make sure you get through it. For nothing, because the Cash Builder and the Final Chase, those are more just like standard rapid fire trivia questions. I'm great at that, and the middle round is tough, and that's the one thing that I would say, if people could figure out how to train for that, that could be good, because a lot of them you maybe could reason it out, but it just kind of takes more than 5 seconds. You kind of just have to think through it. So some way to like train yourself to do that faster would be beneficial. I don't know.
So how many other people on your team got through to the Final Chase?
All 3 of us.
All three? Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And did you won your Final Chase as well, did you?
Of course. We won by 11 steps.
11?
We won by more steps than anybody the whole season. We got more pushbacks. We clobbered him. He could have had another whole minute. We still probably would have won.
Who was your chaser?
Brad Rudder.
Brad. And when did you find out it was him? Is it literally when he walks onto the set, or did you find out earlier?
It is literally when you walk on the set, though I imagine in a little bit of the preamble, we probably would have heard the stage manager or somebody call him. However, I found it out when I was in the makeup trailer, because I'm snooping, and the makeup trailer actually had the production schedule for the whole week and the list of chasers. So I saw that morning, I was like, oh, ours is Brad. And I even saw, like, I knew when my other friends were taping, I was like, okay, so Kristen has Ken. Like I noticed that, like, when we were done that day, I texted my friend Kristen, who I think was on the last episode, maybe taping wise. And I said, do you want to know who your chaser is? Because I saw it in the makeup room. I think she said yes. But yeah, so I found out that way. But yeah, you don't really find out till the day of.
Yeah. Were you happy to get Brad, or did you want someone else, or were you not bothered?
Yes. I thought that he would be the easiest, and I was right. Yeah, I was happy to get him.
Yeah, he's the only one of the three I hadn't heard of before I researched this. I knew the other two, so I'm guessing, what had he done before?
Well, so before the Jeopardy Greatest of All Time tournament from like a year ago, he was actually the winningest Jeopardy champion in terms of dollar amount, because there had been like 2 previous tournaments that he won both of. I think Kim was in both of them, and Brad still won both of them. So he's very formidable and just a really great quizzer. I don't know if he's just gotten a little rusty, or, I mean, I'm sure he would still beat me head to head without a doubt, but he's just another classic Jeopardy champion.
Right.
Yeah.
On the day when your episode was done, were you allowed to hang around and watch other people's episodes, or
ours was the last one of the day.
Right.
And there may have only been, I guess there was probably only 2. And there was not, unlike on a Wheel of Fortune, where you actually can, like, if you're the 5th one of the day, you can see the other ones. There was none of that, so we didn't fully know if there were any other format changes. And yeah, also mid-pandemic, there just wasn't mingling. So we finished, we got back on the bus and went to the hotel, and then we did meet up at the bar, the 3 of us at the hotel bar.
Yeah.
To, like, quietly, modestly celebrate in the corner.
So how much was it you won exactly, if you don't mind me asking?
The total was 290,000.
Yeah.
Split 3 ways. So we each got 96,667.
Wow.
And it also came pretty quickly. Like, I mean, I've already had it for a few weeks now. And I asked them, you can either get the full amount if you live in California. You don't live in California, they will take out California state tax. And since I'm splitting my time between California and Oklahoma, actually, I said, why don't y'all go ahead and take out California? So I literally got a check for $90,005.
Wow. And how soon? You said you already had it
as well.
Say again, sorry.
Direct deposited as well, which was nice. I actually got a paper, not like check, but like kind of invoice. But that was nice to just wake up and have that.
See that. Lovely. Did you not know it was coming on that day, or did you just look and see it?
I actually did know, because there was a bit of a buildup, and also for whatever reason, mine came like 5 days after everybody. So I did have a multi-day period where I was just a ball of anxiety, because my friends who were on other episodes had gotten theirs, my teammates from my episode had gotten theirs, and mine just like wasn't coming. And but then it showed up.
Yeah. So how long after your episode did you get it, did you say? From when you
very quickly, like 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, really quickly. And we were also the last episode, so people earlier would have had to wait longer. Yeah. But like a Wheel of Fortune is notorious that they tell you 120 days. You will get it within 120 days of air date.
Yeah.
And mine came on day 119. And I think a lot of people's come, like, they take that whole time.
Wow. Have you done anything nice with the money at all?
I reached out to a realtor and a
Nice.
mortgage loan officer about maybe getting a place in San Francisco. I'll definitely take a good big trip. I've done a lot of traveling through Europe. I haven't really done a lot through Asia, so I'm gonna do that. It's just you just can't yet, even though I luckily am fully vaccinated now. The country's borders just aren't open, so I will do that. I bought myself an essential oil diffuser. I'm like, yeah. I haven't done too much yet, but I will. I'm thinking about going to Mexico in the next month, and I'll probably buy a lot of big silver rings, like this one, which I wore. I got in Mexico, and I actually wore it on the show as well.
Oh, cool. I don't think we've really talked about the actual film in itself.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was really fun bantering with Sarah. She was a great host with us. Like every time we weren't taping or had to retape, she was just so personable and easy. Like she was one of the best parts about it. Us just like chatting with her the whole time. I was interested to see what would get cut and what would make it because we did film for so long. So like all of our, what would you do if you won any money? All of those stories were cut because we just had so much more material, which was sad because mine was a really great answer. I said, Sarah, the reason that I came on this show and hope to win some money is because I love money. I love it. I don't understand why people say money can't buy you happiness. They must be spending it wrong because it buys me a lot of happiness. So if I win money on this show, I'm going to buy myself some happiness. And we all chuckled. And then like the next guy that got up, Chris, was like, I'm going to give it to charity. And and I was like, well, okay, great. Thanks, Chris. But they cut all of ours that. So it's interesting to see what was cut, what had to be redone. Sarah had a big problem trying to say eponymously. And it took her over 10 times. She kept missing it. And then when it actually aired, they had rewritten the question to where it was just eponymous. I didn't even notice that the first time, but Catherine on my team, I think, said, did you see that? They actually just changed it to where it's from eponymously to eponymous on a question. So it's little things like that were interesting to notice.
So did they have to retake much, or what kind of things did they retake?
They had to retape any egregious mispronunciations. They had to retake too much, but some things, a few times. If they didn't like the transition from this section to this next section, they would redo that. That they took liberties redoing those types of things much more than any of the other shows that I've been on.
Did they ever retake, for example, like a cash builder or the final chase that was timed? Like, how would that work?
Yeah, they definitely have somebody on the watch for that. We didn't have to do it mid cash builder. There were some for the final chase. I think that eponymous one was in the middle of Brad's final chase. So we definitely paused and then clocks got reset. They were really fair on that, but it did happen. So another interesting thing was, if you lock in your answer, a little bit of answer, and then they're going to reveal whether you got it right. On the board that we saw, it not only showed whether we got it right, but it also showed at the same time what the chaser put before it was like revealed to us. So like I remember one thing. Oh, another thing is if the chaser and the contestant both miss a middle round question, they just cut it out. They just didn't air it. So for instance, there was one question, I don't even remember what it was anymore at this point, but I missed it, But then you could see on my face, I wasn't super upset because I saw immediately that Brad had also missed it. And then it didn't even make it into the taping. But I think I also knew that because my friend Kristen was on the first episode that aired, and she noticed it. Yeah. So we knew that was going to happen.
So why do they show it? Why can you see that
It just is on the board, the board that has the questions and answers, and it just lights up on the left side with a green arrow what you chose, were you correct, and on the right side of it you could just see what the chaser had picked. And
a lot of the suspense of that.
All that it changes is just the anticipation of us finding out what they picked in case we missed it.
Yeah. Did they provide food? Right, I missed a question.
Yeah, so we did get a per diem when we got there. We got like a snack bag and about like $180 of per diem so that we wouldn't go out, so that we could either just do room service or delivery. Yeah. And then on the day of taping, we did put in an order. We had snacks in our room and we did put it in an order. Which is interesting to note because I think if you lost, that might be all that you got. I don't know that there was a consolation prize, unlike other shows where you get $1,000 if you lose, even if you lose. But yeah, so on the shows where you are guaranteed a minimum, like of $1,000, for instance, most of those you have to get yourself there and get a hotel or whatever. And so this one, there was no guaranteed minimum prize, but we were housed and our travel was paid for, and we did have our food paid for.
Yeah, well, that's good. What did you order? What was your takeout, by the way? I'm just interested.
It was just from like a generic place, and I had just another thing that I did to get ready for TV shows, I lost like 25 pounds or so. So I ordered like a salad. Whatever. Yeah, it was just like a soup salad sandwich kind of place. When you're on Jeopardy, in a normal world, they take 3 episodes in the morning, and then you go to the Sony Studios cafeteria and they give you like a voucher that's worth like $10.80 or something. So you can get whatever at the cafeteria. I also got a salad for that day, and a Red Bull because I could afford it and I felt like I might need it.
Have you got your sights set? Do you know
It'll depend. It'll depend. I could definitely see myself doing a Name That Tune type of show. My degree actually is in music, and so and the way that Wheel of Fortune Dave and I know each other is from the San Francisco Game and Chorus. Right. So I actually would be not bad at that show. I could see myself doing like the $100,000 pyramid. Whatever the next good kind of quiz show that has a good prize as well, because sometimes producers will reach out and like the top prize will be $10,000 or something. I was like, I'm not wasting. I don't get out of my bed for $10,000, says Linda Evangelista. Yeah, I'm not going on a show where that's the most, especially because that's basically the one show you can do in like a 2-year period. So I'm going to do something where I can win big. And because on all 4 of my shows, I have won. So I'm just going to keep that track record.
Fair enough. Good luck with it. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Let me know what you go on, and I hope you get 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5. Absolutely. I'll definitely let you know in a year, and you'll have to watch. You'll see me win.
Definitely. Yeah, let me know. I'll definitely watch it. Right. This has been great. Thank you for coming on, Elliot. I've had a great time.
Of course.
Learned a lot.
Let me know if you have any other questions as you're putting all this together.
Yeah.
I know a lot about game shows.
Lovely. Yeah, we'll do. I'll be in touch again. Right. Thank you very much.
Of course. Have a good day.